Is that the best you can do? A little heat?
Time for your lesson. Chem 101. What happens when you rapidly cool hot metal?
Hello and welcome back to A Stark Contrast, where we discuss the differences and similarities between Marvel Comics and their MCU counterparts. And we're your hosts, Geoffrey
and Dai.
Hello, and welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back, Jeff.
It is almost the end of the year.
That is crazy, because that means it's an end of another season of this podcast.
Thanksgiving will have passed when this...
Yeah.
And then that means we're straight into December.
It's basically Christmas.
Mm-hmm. It was Christmas a month ago for me.
Right, full speed ahead. I know the minute October is over and Halloween is gone, it's like winter.
I've had multiple conversations with friends of like, he's like, I'm going to put a tree up as soon as Halloween's over, and like that's been like a hot take. In some domestic households.
Yeah, I almost did it. And then I thought about it and I was like, then I have to live with it for literally 2 months.
That's why I'm team year round. Like if you don't use that certain corner or space,
do it.
Just leave it up.
And you can decorate it however you want. People are putting blind box plushies on that.
Exactly.
And I was like, you know what? But as you may have seen the stuff downstairs, I have all the stuff out. So I'm going to bring that tree out. It's in the garage standing up. It's just waiting to be unboxed.
Oh, okay.
So for Thanksgiving, we're going up. We're doing it. Let's go.
Just got to do it.
Happy holidays. But yes, happy Thanksgiving to those of you who celebrate or just like turkey and all the things.
Yes.
So latest news in Marvel, the Marvel Universe. So I mentioned in the previous episode on our mini Marvel, which is streaming with video on YouTube, PlayStation is taking beta tester requests for Marvel's upcoming fighting game, Dokkan Fighting Souls. And funny enough, I got in, which is pretty awesome because one of my gamer coworker buddies, he said he signed up as well. Has not heard back yet. Yeesh. So I was like, oh, they're looking to my game history.
Probably.
And they're like, she played Street Fighter and Tomb Raider and an Assassin's Creed and Marvel Rivals is there. Marvel vs. Capcom. Okay. So I got in, and so it's only accessible for one weekend, which is next weekend. And I have 48 hours to play the game. I don't know if that means continuously or like for an hour or what it means.
Probably.
I would imagine continuously.
I would say continuously, yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm going to see if I can record all the gameplay and stuff so I can actually share some of this stuff and put it on YouTube. So fingers crossed, hopefully I can do that. But I'm really excited. I'm excited to see how it is. And I like this kind of stuff. I like testing things.
Yeah.
And I like finding the bugs and all these fixes. So so I'm kind of jazzed about that. And then speaking of games, Ms. Lenore Zan herself confirmed on social media that Rogue's Marvel Rivals drop will occur in December, though no formal announcement has been made just yet. The dates were like when the not mid-season campaign, because they just launched season 5.
Yeah.
But it's after they're celebrating their first year officially as a game. They're giving away essentially $20 worth of credits for free to everybody who logs in, which is like, all right, thanks, I guess. But yeah, so no actual date on when Rogue is dropping, although it could be any day now when we release this episode.
I
know. But I would assume it's in mid-December, so that's gonna be pretty cool. We'll see what level, what tier she is. Definitely leaning into the tanks, because someone made a good point. I saw it today actually, that they released a duelist who was Daredevil. Then they released a strategist who is Gambit. So they've only not released a new tank. And who better to fill that spot than Rogue? So hopefully that is her level and she can actually kick some ass, because I'm dying for a tank that I can actually play. Yeah. I tried out Emma Frost the other day and I was like, okay, she's pretty it's just really solid. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting time, and I'm very curious to see what else they release for their first year. There was this like official celebration that they had in Burbank the other week. I completely dropped the ball on tickets. I was like, oh, I can just walk in, right? And then I looked up tickets and I was like, oh, you're sold out. So they had a lot of the voice actors there. They were doing freebies, panels, all that stuff. Totally missed it, but it looked like it was a great time. As for other things, so have you seen, I mean, this is a question for you lately because I know that you've missed a few of these things, but have you seen these doomsday leaks, the new ones?
The fake ones? Sure, I guess.
Yes, exactly. all the AI stuff that's popping up,
Yeah.
I'm just like, this
Crazy.
needs to stop.
Yeah.
Like, and for those of you who aren't familiar, there was the series of X-Men photos going around. And I'll be honest, the first one that I saw, I was like, oh,
It's close, right?
it's so
You're
close.
Like,
and then, and you look at it even closer and you're like, I'm not sure. But there's a giveaway near James Marsden's foot where there's like,
It's always the
there's like
smallest
three,
things.
yeah, it's like 3 boots. I was like, And then another one popped up and now people are going like crazy making Tobey Maguire
it's crazy,
edits.
dude. Yeah.
And Andrew Garfield, and I'm just like, relax with the AI, guys.
I know.
And so I hate that. I wish that they would just actually release something, but
I know.
I don't know. It might be part of the machine, right?
I guess.
They're like, let's put out some fake stuff.
I'm tired of it.
I'm so tired of it. Oh, it's
I
so
hate
awful.
it all.
I know. I'm dying for something, but yeah, more of the actors are saying things, and now like today I saw that that Benedict Cumberbatch was like, yeah, I'm not sure when we're gonna see Doctor Strange again, but you know, eventually.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's
you
just
got to
like,
play coy.
they're all playing coy.
I love it. Yeah, just keep denying it. I
all
don't
of
care.
them. I know, all of them. Oh God, it's so funny. But last but not least, before we jump into this week's episode, so Chadwick Boseman, King of Kings, he posthumously received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Saw that.
I know. I watched everything. I was like,
Oh really?
oh yeah, Ryan Coogler, that man
I
is
know.
still in his feels, and I'm like, damn, dude, I feel that. But yeah, it's located near the Dolby Theater on Hollywood Boulevard.
Ooh,
Yep. So he's right there, right in
right
front.
next to my work.
Yeah, because the premiere of Black Panther. So they wanted to give him a really good spot, which is like incredible to me. Honestly, I can't wait to see it. And yeah, his Wakandan family came out to honor him alongside his wife Simone. So that was a really nice moment. Yeah. So long live King Chad. And so all that said, we can dive into this episode's character study. But first, reminder, we are not experts and we don't claim to be. We're just a couple of nerds nerding out. And in this episode, we're nerding out about Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic.
You better stretch it out because we're gonna. We got some things to talk about today.
God, don't wind me up. I'm gonna bounce like a ball. You know that when I think of Mr. Fantastic, I think of the voice in Rivals. Yeah, there's something to yes. Good work, Susan. It's like nerdy but cheeky.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so funny to me. I don't know. It's also very retro futuristic in its weird way. But yes, we're going to discuss Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. And so if you'd like some related episodes to this one, check out 114, Mini Marvel number 19, all about the First Steps film. 115 about Invisible Woman, 116 about Human Torch, and 119, The Thing. So with this episode, we'll have covered all 4 Fantastic Four members, which was a feat, but also kind of light because I didn't have to do the origin story over and over again.
Yeah.
Which I really appreciated.
Yeah.
But much like the other episodes, we're gonna breeze through the origin, but there is a lot of stuff in between that we're gonna get to about Reed. But first, created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, first appearance once again, Fantastic Four #1 with Giganto, November 1961.
Oh, yeah.
The Fantastic Four. And so, once again, it's Marvel's first superhero book. It doesn't get any better than that. 10 cents at the time of its release. And so, again, this is one of those books you can't just acquire. You can't just walk into a store and be like, I would like that.
I want
Fantastic Four for $5.
issue #1.
Yeah, and not even the facsimile. The facsimile is even, a little pricey. But the highest graded copy of this issue sold for, what was it? Whopping $2,040,000 in September 2024. And there are approximately 3,000 of these graded copies on record. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. But just the other day, and I sent this to Jeff as well, only 8 comics have ever made it past the 2 million purchase mark, in addition to Fantastic Four. And this one just took the cake. And so the original first edition of Action Comics #1, Superman's first appearance, sold for 9 million doll hairs.
But like,
In exceptional condition. And funny enough, I read up on it just because I knew you'd be curious.
yeah.
They 100%, it was an aunt that had comics in her attic. She forgot where they were. I was like, wow, that's a peek into my future. And they found it in pristine condition.
I think that's the most impressive part.
That's crazy.
It's in like pretty much 9.8 type of condition.
Yeah.
Because yellowing, if it's stored in original plastic,
Humidity.
moisture,
Exactly.
You just never
All
know.
of that. I mean, and in her attic. Like that's
Who discovered it? The lady?
So the book was released in 1938. Or no, family members discovered it. So she had been talking about comics that she owned, didn't remember where they were.
How do you think that conversation went?
Oh, I don't know.
Of like splitting the money and everything.
That's the curious part, because I didn't look up how old she is. I mean, if she owned it as a child, holy smokes, she's up there. So she might not be, and
then you're so unaware. You're like, oh my god.
Well, yeah, especially if the notation was that she forgot where she put them, and so they kind of gave up. But then as they were cleaning out her attic, boom, they found the mother lode, and then got $9 million for it.
At an auction, right?
At an auction, because that's the only way you can get comics like these. And so, yeah, for a 1938 comic, whoo! And that's a full, like, how many years? 23 years ahead of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
So 9 million, officially the highest sold comic in history. That's absolutely incredible to me. Oh, actually, I have.
It hurts seeing other people live your dreams.
I know. I was like, wow. I was like, I'm on the wrong end of this story. And so I actually pulled a quote from the article. And so it said, the hollowed comic was found in a box in an attic by 3 brothers in Northern California as they cleared out the house of their mother. So their mother, after her death, the trio have said their mom spoke about having original copies of the comic books from the 1930s, but couldn't remember where. It was dismissed as a family legend.
Wow.
Imagine that.
Yeah, 3 brothers, and you're just like,
yeah.
wow.
Because I think it sold for 7, and then with all the fees and everything, it turned into 9.
And then you probably
or
get
vice versa.
And let's say at least they get half of that.
Yeah.
That's
still needs so much money.
You're splitting $4.5 million.
It's incredible. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the highest one officially. Oh my gosh. And so back to the Fantastic Four. What was your first exposure to Reed Richards as a character?
Ian McGruffin.
Yoan. I think it's
Yoan.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yoan, because it's like a
Ewan. No, it's
Scottish.
McGregor. Ewan McGregor is
Ewan McGregor, but his is Yoan Grufford.
Gruffin.
Gruffud.
Gruffin.
GRUFUDD.
Sure.
FFUUD.
Turd.
My SIPP.
Yeah.
I missed an S, but yes.
Him for sure is my first. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's Reed Richards.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I can imagine if that was the first exposure and you were a tiny baby then, and then you
2004, I was 10.
And then you saw the comic book version. Were you like, oh, he looks the same? Like, what was your thought?
Probably, I mean, it's obviously the white sides. Mm-hmm. That's probably the only thing.
Very distinguishable.
Yeah.
I'm getting there.
I think same, honestly.
I tell my best friend all the time, I'm like, ooh, my Doctor Strange's is coming in. Yep.
Yeah. I think I have to see like the original how he looks, Mr. Fantastic. I forget.
The comic book version.
Yeah, comic version.
He looks like the Rivals one, just doesn't have a beard or anything.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, he's more
Okay.
he's cultivated.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you got to remember he comes from a very polished era.
Yes. Yeah.
So.
The white sides.
The white
are
sides,
what
yeah.
really stick out to me.
Yeah, and it was interesting because in the first film, I feel like they were kind of light with it. It didn't really start to come in until
he got his
film.
powers.
Until he got his powers, and
yes.
then the second film, he was full on there.
Full on, yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think it was the cards for sure, or they popped it up in Spider-Man comics. So it was kind of like, okay, yeah, know them for sure.
I was wrong. It was 2005. The movie came out.
First movie. Yeah.
First movie.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And so, I figured I found them out when I was about your age as well, like 10 or 12. I think I was really like fully like,
invested.
Yeah, because the cards were a thing. Again, I was like 8, 9 buying the cards, but I didn't know what I was doing. Kids with Pokemon.
Yeah.
They just kind of buy cards and they're like, I got cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've seen his face and I'm familiar with him by that, but it didn't really start to sink in until I really started to read the comics, no pun intended. But yeah, so as for the character himself, so I'm going to refer to our mini book for his official bio. And for your enjoyment, Reed Richards, height 6 foot 1 inch, 180 pounds.
Okay.
He's a
slender
man.
fella.
He's a slender fella for sure. So, launching his fiancée, her kid brother, and his best friend into space aboard an unshielded spacecraft may not have been his smartest move, but brilliant scientist Reed Richards saw the potential in the cosmic ray-fueled powers he and his fellow Fantastic Four developed as a result of the failed experiment that turned him into the super elastic Mr. Fantastic.
Wow.
Somebody got paid for that.
Someone was like, yeah, let me cook real quick.
Cooking.
Yeah, let me get this off.
It's so funny. Oh man. Okay. But yeah, so again, this is exactly what we know. This is what we've been exposed to and how familiar we are with them as characters. And so not to dabble into that again for the fourth time too far, but this is the fourth time we're discussing their origin story, and so each and every time there are more nuances that we're covering, and the same goes for Reed. But again, the first time we see them all together, Ben and Reed are having this heated discussion about going to space, and Ben is just giving his pilot experience and saying, we're not ready, we don't know cosmic rays, this ship isn't ready, and Reed's just like, well, I think we're gonna go up and do it anyway.
Yeah.
And they do. And they come back down and they have they're imbued with their cosmic rays. And so again, if you'd like to hear this story in full, rewind back to the Invisible Woman episode where we really, really talk about it in depth. And again, this all happens during the space race, just mere months in real time, parallel to real life history. So Stan and Jack were really timely with this particular story. Like it's like how, I don't know that that's the thing about comics now. I don't know that they hit historical moments as wildly as they used to. Because now it's like kind of like a repeat of history, just going bad. Whereas this one, there was never a Soviet Union space race before. And so it was the first time in a big history. And so for them to drop this comic and amidst all that is a feat in its own. But yeah, as for Fantastic Four themselves, so when they come back down to Earth, the very cosmic rays Ben warned them about, they start to take effect one by one. And then, as we know, Sue and Reed were the last two affected, though Ben technically transformed after both. And so, regardless of the strangeness of it all, the four of them come to accept their new fate, and they take on these famous monikers. They never really explain why he goes by Mr. Fantastic, though. Yeah,
I thought so.
Maybe I could have done a quick Google, but I don't know that I would trust it. I think they really just were like, he's so fantastic. And he's like, I'm Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Like, why not like Elastaman,
Yeah.
Like, why is everyone else... Like names, like...
Is it because of elastic and it just happens to rhyme with fantastic? Like, it could be.
Yeah, but it's also just like Mr. It's like, okay, that sounds kind of narcissist.
yeah. And I'm sure it even goes deeper than that because like the history drawing parallels was fantastic, like whoa, this is the cool new word in the
Yeah,
60s.
yeah,
Fantastic. So
Fantastic Ball.
yeah. So it could have very well been that. I did myself a favor and I rewatched First Steps last night
Ooh.
because I haven't watched it since it was in theaters.
Yes.
Oh my god. So solid.
Still good.
So good.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
really enjoyed actually getting to sit with myself, quiet,
Yeah.
no distractions, and just watch the movie. It actually, because before, when we saw it and when I saw it in theaters, or sorry, we didn't see it. We were apart that time.
Yes.
When I saw it in theaters, I got emotional, but I didn't cry, which I thought was surprising for me because usually these movies make me cry for some reason. Dead ass, definitely cried last night. I was like, I don't know if I'm emotional,
Which
but
part?
it's always the Sooth stuff. It's always the Sooth stuff.
The speech?
The speech, but the death, and also
The almost death.
the almost death. but also, if you watch closely at each individual actor in their role, really like hone in on them.
Yeah.
They're acting their asses off.
No, yeah, they
They
are.
really are.
I think it's even like crazier because if you know them from other
Yeah.
projects
Yeah.
and then you see them in this role, you're kind of like, oh no, they are
Yeah.
like engulfed
Locked
in this role.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah.
And so I think I said this in our Sue Stormer episode is that Vanessa Kirby, before Florence Pugh was cast, she was my pick for Yelena based on the comic book version. Strictly based on comic book. Like Florence really took that character,
Made it hers.
made
yeah.
it hers. Like it's hers now. It doesn't belong to anybody except for her. But like even like because I started to think like, oh, why do people, we're going to talk about this obviously, but why do people have such an offense against Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards? But if you watched him as Reed, he may look like Pedro Pascal, and even then I'm kind of like, no, he looks like Reed
Yeah.
Richards. He is locked into that
They
personality.
all are.
Yeah,
Like,
it's incredible.
Like even Joseph Quinn as Johnny.
yeah,
You're just like,
yeah,
yeah, no, like that's that's a totally
Johnny.
different character.
Exactly.
Even as even Eben as
Yeah, as
Ben.
Ben. Yeah,
like you could see and like feel it.
yeah,
When he's like the Thing.
exactly. Yeah, it's actually quite astonishing, and I think people take it for granted,
Yeah.
and they really just watched it once. They were probably second screening the entire thing, looking at their phones, not really looking at like paying attention to the film, and you miss all these nuances. That is just paying attention,
Yeah.
and like especially speaking of the fake death, like for instance, the way that like Pedro is expressing his grief for Sue without saying anything, and he's really just like, "Don't leave us, baby," and that's it.
Yeah.
That man can really cry. He's really good at crying.
Yeah.
But I felt him like devastated as Reed in that
Yeah.
moment, and it wasn't like Joel was devastated losing his daughter.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it made me appreciate the film even more. Like I was already like, this is a 12-10 movie. Like this is up and over and beyond. But yeah, rewatching it, I was like, anybody who doesn't like the film,
Like, come on.
it's incredible, and it should have made more. But people are interesting, and so. The origin aside, I wanted to touch a little bit more on his background as an individual, Reed Richards. No doubt a child prodigy. And so he had special aptitudes for mathematics, for physics, and mechanics, further nurtured by and guided by his parents, who we'll talk about shortly. But short and sweet, it's in the genes. His dad was also incredibly intelligent, and so we'll get to him shortly. But as you would believe it, Reed joins the somewhat short list of superheroes who originated from California.
Love that.
Born and raised in Central City, which is essentially a small part of Santa Ana. Isn't that crazy?
Like
Real
here?
city? Yes.
Like Santa Ana, Orange County?
And he's an Orange County boy. Isn't that funny? I was
That
like,
is funny.
what?
That's
Reed
the
Richards?
actual
Yeah.
origin that
Birthplace, Central City, California. And I was like, let me look this. Like, is this
let
real?
Me, let me cross check
Because
this.
they make up cities all the
Yes.
time. No, he is 100% from Santa Ana.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so funny to me. I'm like, this is hilarious. So he's a Southern California
That's so
boy.
funny.
Right. And so entering college at the tender age of 14, Reed attended Caltech before hopping over to Harvard.
So you're telling me he was driving from Santa Ana to Pasadena?
Or I think he just lived there. Well, he had to have been shuttled
That's
over,
funny
right?
when you think of things like
'Cause
in a
he's
literal
14.
sense. You're like, what? Wait, that.
He can't even drive yet. Yeah, he's getting shuttled over.
Yeah.
So he went to Caltech before going to Harvard, and then he went to MIT, even studying abroad in Austria at one point. And then by 18, he had at least 4 degrees under his belt.
Sure.
And so, of course, as we've talked about in a couple of the other episodes, it's at this point that Reed's path converged with Ben Grimm, because as we mentioned, they became college dorm mates. So he was working on his 5th degree, and that's when he met Ben Grimm in college, and he was still 18. It's like,
Dude.
what? And so not long after this moment, Reed then took up residence at Mary Gay Dinkins's boarding house, who happens to be the aunt of Sue and Johnny. And that's when all of their paths crossed, because Ben was already friends with Reed, and then Sue and Johnny were there because of their aunt, and they were living with her after their parents died, and it just all came together very perfectly. And so that's the nitty gritty as far as his background goes, and we'll get into it a little bit more shortly. But yes, as we've been discussing, Dr. Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, first portrayed by Alex Hyde White in the unreleased 1994 film, and it's so funny because he's the first person aside the Fantastic Four you even see in First Steps, and because he's the news anchor.
Yeah.
And it's so funny to see him in retrospect, like, he was supposed to be Mr. Fantastic once upon a time. And then Johan Grufford in the Fox films, and then Miles Teller in the 2015 film Fantastic. Then John Krasinski in 2022's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and of course, most recently by Pedro Pascal in 2025's Fantastic Four, First Steps. Do you have a favorite?
I'm going to stick with my OG.
Yeah, Johan.
Have to.
Yeah.
But yes, Pedro is definitely
He's so good.
up there.
Yeah.
I apologize to Miles Teller. You are at the bottom.
You know, it's so funny because
He just said something.
Yes,
and
he
was
did.
like,
I have it here.
Like the reason why it was so bad is because it was because of one person.
One person. And so, yes, funny enough, Miles Teller revealed on Sirius Radio just a couple of weeks ago, quote unquote, and honestly, maybe there was one really important person who kind of effed it all up.
Wonder who it is.
Does not mention the person by name.
You can't. You never can.
No, he can't. But he did ominously drop a Southern accent when he was like impersonating things that they would say. So it's like,
what did he say? What was like what someone
was
saying?
like, oh, do you think that you ought to be doing that in that scene? Like stuff like that. And like the critiquing. And so I was just like, who was that?
Yeah.
And so, poor Miles Teller. I mean, like, but it's interesting because as I was reading comments and commentary on his interview, people were like, oh, you deserve better, King. And I'm like, yeah, he's a good actor. You just did a bad movie. All 4 of them, really.
All 4 of them, yeah. I mean, thank God they're all good.
I know.
Now.
Yeah, it was interesting because he did dovetail it with like, at that time, at that specific 2015 moment, you had to, if you wanted to be a serious actor, you had to play a superhero. And he thought,
which is
very strange. Yeah.
Very crazy.
I didn't expect that quote at all, but yeah. And so that's why he took the role. But yeah, I don't know if I don't know that I have a favorite.
I will. Okay. Well, I will say seeing John Krasinski play the role was definitely a left field. Yeah. And but I was also just like,
why
oh, nice.
You didn't expect him at all?
No. I mean, sure, fan cast, right. but it's like one thing to like fan cast.
Yeah.
And then it's one thing to be like, oh, it's happening. It's there.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I stood up and cheered because I was like, oh my God, because the rumor of like fan casting was so heavy at that point.
Yeah, and it's like, but in that scenario, I was like, cool. Yeah, like that's great. If we never see him again, that's totally fine.
Wasn't married to it. I was fine just having him once, just to see. And yeah, it would.
The suit was cool too in that one.
Yeah, it looked great. Yeah, I think he did a great job, and I know people still groan about it, and that's part of the Pedro hate, is that they still wanted John Krasinski, and it's like, relax.
He's not.
Relax, okay? They're the same people that wanted... I'm not going to get into it. I'm just going to I'm going to leave it right there.
Yeah.
But the same people that gripe about other things are the people that still want John Krasinski, and it's like, it's okay. We got him once. Like, just let it go.
Yeah.
And so I honestly couldn't pick because even ranking them would be difficult for me because they're all great for different reasons. You know, even Miles Teller, dare I say. And it's just, yeah, again, he was just in a bad movie, but he still played a pretty good Reed. It was just a very different Reed.
Yes.
But yeah, in across the board in all the films, even Van Forstik, Reed is depicted as this highly, highly intelligent man capable of creating damn near anything that the mind can conjure up for any purpose. And so, funny enough, Van Forstik remains to be the only film where we actually got to see a younger version of Reed. And so, of course, the other 3 iterations of him, variations of him, they're all adult. We don't get the backstory at all. We just meet him where he is.
Yeah.
I'm very smart. I'm the smartest man in the galaxy. I'm
much.
Reed Richards. Van Forstik, that's the one thing that Van Forstik kind of gave us, is that they gave us a peek into who he was before all of that happened. And it gave us a look at their younger respective teenhoods, inaccurate as they were in some ways, but it's still an interesting take on it all. The other films, however, yeah, they cut to the chase and they were just straight up, this is him. So how do you feel with that treatment? Because I'm curious, like taking it back, when they take it back a little bit and they make them younger, like they did with X-Men, for instance.
Yeah.
So we were introduced to the set of X-Men in 2000, James Marsden and crew, and then when they reset, they brought in
The first class.
First class. How do you feel about when they do that? When they bring in young, really young kids,
Yeah.
to play these more mature roles.
I think if it works, it works, and unfortunately, it worked.
Yeah.
For first class. Mm-hmm. And it's like, if it works, all right, cool. Then maybe these people will be able to play these characters
For a long time.
time.
That's the
And-
idea.
But obviously, Fox went through all that stuff, and
Yeah.
they're still going through it now. and-
Cold dead hands, man.
yeah, and so it's like, oh well, we have them, but we also still have Patrick Stewart and
Right.
Ian McKellen, and I feel like I think I said this in another episode. I was like, I hope this is their last time playing these characters
I know.
in Doomsday and
Yeah.
Secret War, or whatever. I hope it's the last time.
Honestly.
Yeah, like
That was another thing I saw, like just today, like Hugh Jackman being like, yeah, I should have never said I would never do another film again because I don't know, maybe I'll do another one. And it's like, brother, love, like,
yeah,
it's okay to not.
Yeah,
Like-
like you can do that, give your all to it.
Yeah.
and then just it's like, cool, I'm taking a break from it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. And then, yeah, I mean, as much as I love these people playing these characters, I'm also just like,
like you're good, like you're
good.
fine.
Yeah,
Don't,
you did it.
yeah. But if but it's also, if you're getting a big paycheck, sure, I get it.
I know,
Like,
like feed yourself. That's fine.
yeah, like I get it.
yeah, I totally get it.
So I mean, yeah, it works. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's gonna happen for the rest of the MCU, but yeah,
I think it is interesting because Van Forstik took such an approach, and even with the original Fantastic Four films, they still skewed quite young because of Sue alone,
Yeah.
right? Because of Jessica Alba. Like, how do you, again, to your point, how do you not use Jessica Alba, who was the hottest, like, female icon at that time?
yeah,
And then to then think, because, like part of like my 2 a.m. thoughts was like, oh, why didn't Fantastic Four hit as hard, right? For Steps. Why didn't it hit as hard? And I was like, is it because they're so mature that people are like, oh, like the kids are like, oh, this isn't like the Chris Evans one where they're making like jokes and all that silliness that we love about
Yes.
2000s movies, right?
yes,
And granted, they had their own fair share of it in First Steps, but it does have a certain maturity level compared to the other films and a bit more sophistication. And yes, Sue and Reed are actually closer in age. And so while doing my research today, it was really interesting because, like, for instance, I just showed Jeff this screenshot of Reed and Sue's wedding day. And it was very much so depicted in the olden times, 1960s, that it wasn't frowned upon that an older man was marrying a woman 20 years his junior.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the deal with Reed and Sue at the time. You know, he was in his 30s and she was probably 18 or 19. But yeah, so in the film, in First Steps, they're much older and at least much more adult, if you will.
Yeah.
And they're like pretty much the same age. So I was wondering, I was like, I wonder if that's something that turned some people off, but I think they nailed it, personally speaking. So as for aesthetic, speaking of looking at the comic book version, Jeff, there you go. He looks a little, in that screenshot,
He looks like he's like 60
old.
years old.
No, like very much
Like
so.
old.
Like very, and that was with the depiction of the white hair as well. It's supposed to establish that he is a gentleman. I don't know. I feel like that's not a great comic book representation of him, but you can see the similarities of where they were trying to go. He's just got this comb back hair.
Yeah.
And he's got the white on the sides. And again, it's kind of funny because Pedro kind of is like a nice little middleman of it all.
I think so.
Yeah. As for the suits, they do vary quite a bit. There's one that stands out above the rest.
It's not even like
a
Fantastic Four.
It's not even close. And I know people try to make excuses like, oh, he looks like Maker. And it's like, no, he doesn't. He doesn't even look like Maker. And we'll talk about Maker a little later. But yeah, there's no Fan Four stick, just drop the ball. But otherwise, all the suits are pretty consistent. They all have the 4 on them. They're all blue in some fashion. They've all got a little white, and sometimes they have some black. And so a reminder, First Step's costume designer was Alexander Byrne, who also worked on Thor, The Avengers, and Guardians of the Galaxy. I love seeing people on Twitter specifically, they put together like, oh, I love seeing comic book accurate costumes, and they always include Fantastic Four now. Always. And it's so interesting because it's like, yeah, that same costume designer lead also gave you the Avengers costumes, Thor's costumes, and Guardians of the Galaxy. Like that, Alexander does not miss. So she's to thank. And it's kind of hard to mess up a look like Reed's. He's sharp but nerdy, sort of encased in a simple outfit, but of course, most notably of all, the white streaks along his ear hairline. So yeah, can't mess it up. So powers and paraphernalia. This is an interesting one for all the obvious reasons. So they call it plasticity.
Wow.
It is plasticity.
Sure.
Plastic elasticity.
Uh-huh.
And so after the bombarding of cosmic rays, Reed is now able to control his molecular structure, enabling him with great malleability and elasticity. When it is in its reflexive state, Reed's skin is relatively impenetrable, able to deflect projectiles and even sharp objects at will. As for his stretching capabilities, it's unknown just how he's able to function when stretched. However, it's not so surprising that the further stretched Reed becomes, the more weaker his overall strength becomes. And so that brings us to that one scene that I hate actually looking at for some reason.
Yeah.
When Galactus is stretching him.
Someone said that he's able to stretch as far as he can, but during that scene it was a lot because he didn't want to stretch that far.
It wasn't his choice.
Yes.
Therefore, it's kind of like a mind over matter thing. He was not able to prepare his own genetics or whatever
body,
physics to
stretch that much.
Yeah. It was not of his own will. So totally makes sense. I wanted to very quickly cover the concept of elasticity. And so this I did not write. It does come from the internets, but stretch happens when molecular structures like long polymer chains can uncoil and straighten when force is applied and then snap back to their original tangled state when the force is released. This property occurs because the molecules are in a disordered, high entropy state when at rest. When stretched, they become more ordered, and when the force is removed, the tendency to return to a higher entropy, more disordered state causes them to recoil.
Sure.
And so, again, to your point,
I agree.
he did not stretch at his own will, so therefore his molecules were like, no, what's happening? I'm ripping, and wasn't. may have eventually. But as a result of his plasticity, Reed has remarkably dense flesh that can contain explosions and redirect projectiles. And so elongation also allows him enhanced agility and speed. And then he has shape changing, which also entails a little bit of imitation. So I don't know if you've seen this. There's a deleted scene from Fantastic Four where Reed shape shifts his face into Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. And they cut it from the final movie because they didn't want to depend on him.
Yes.
Yeah, and so Reed can technically shapeshift, and he can change his vocal cords to match.
That's
Yeah, so he's
freaky.
a shapeshifter in his own way. It's very it's very impressive. It's also notable that Reed can flatten himself, so he can literally shapeshift, and so he's able to flatten himself to the thickness of a piece of paper. So that's 0.0035 inches.
Gosh.
Or he can narrow himself small enough to pass through a needle hole. That's how small he can actually make his body and compress his molecules. That said, he's also been known to shape himself into parachutes, slingshots,
Yeah, okay.
balls, and other combative shapes. And he does it a lot in the old comics. And that's where the ho-ho, that's where it comes from. Yeah. Because he does it. Who were they fighting? I think they were fighting Mole Man. Maybe it was Mole Man. I can't remember. He turned into a ball.
So funny.
And he started bouncing around, and it was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it was funny. And so over in live action, much like his team counterparts, it's quite more simplified. Same thing, just simplified. They cite that he has artificially enhanced physiology, which entails the DNA alteration and elasticity/flexibility with superhuman flexibility, agility, leaping, and durability. And so it's also been noted with viewers that Pedro's Reed showed less powers than the rest, which you know, what's interesting is that when you pay attention to him, again, it's funny because the first 2 times I wasn't focused on him nearly as much as everybody else. For some reason, I thought it would be the opposite. But if you pay attention to Reed, he uses it quite a bit. It's just not as blunt as like him dancing with 2 girls and you know what I mean? It's not forced stretchiness. But he does use it a lot more than I remember. So I don't know. Maybe it's worth another watch for those people who missed all of that, to be honest. So that brings us to family, friends, and affiliations. And so, interestingly enough, Reed is one of the few characters, I feel, that has a vast record of his family lineage, stemming all the way back to his grandparents. And so the only other family I ever could have even mentioned that has a notable, like, oh, the grandparents, the parents, the granddaughters, the nieces, the Summers family. They're the only family I feel that has a straight up documentation
of every single
everybody. And then when I looked up Reed's, I was like, oh, he's actually got quite a pretty good lineage, like, of actual canon. So we're not going to get too deep in the weeds with all of them because, his grandparents are even mentioned. I was like, wow, that's kind of wild. But we'll chat about the immediate family. And first up is Evelyn and Nathaniel Richards, who are his mother and father, respectively. And so not a tremendous amount is known about his mother, but it's clear his parents were nurturing, highly intelligent individuals, especially his father. Nathaniel himself, he has an incredibly dense backstory, and it even involves the likes of Nikola Tesla and Sir Isaac Newton. Through a group called the Brotherhood of the Shield. And so, all that aside, I mean, it's time travel. It is creating these inventions that allowed him to go forward and backward. It's incredible. But all that aside, Nathaniel was a brilliant scientist and so successful, in fact, that it gained him great notoriety. Not unlike Sue's father. So Sue's father was a famous surgeon, for instance. And so Sue's family was very well off, and the same is kind of for Reed, that his father was so successful and intelligent in his field that he was well respected in the science world. And so that allowed them to have a proper upbringing and all the, the nurturing that they needed. And so while Evelyn died when Reed was only 7 years old, Nathaniel only recently passed in comic continuity, like a couple of years ago, but not without revealing one thing to his son Reed. Very quickly, again, he has a very Nathaniel has a very dense backstory, and it included Immortus. So that's where the whole king thing was coming from for the films. They were trying to stem and go dive into that stuff.
Yeah.
And then time travel, like I said, battles on other planets. Like this dude was going to other universes. And so there's so much to unpack that I was like, no, we can't go into
No.
It's so incredibly dense. But that's the kind of lineage we're dealing with. This is Reed Richards' father.
Yeah.
Was this incredible man. And so anyway, before he died, he revealed to Reed that he had a half sister.
Oh my gosh.
And so that brings us to Professor Joanna Jeffers. And so not much to say about her, but Reed also, it is worth noting that Reed also has quite a few siblings in the multiverse, but Joanna is the only one in 616. And so although she was introduced in 2021, she only has 2 actual appearances, one of which is just a mention. So she's probably dusted.
God.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Damn.
There's nothing about her, but she is African American,
Yeah.
and so Nathaniel must have had a rendezvous with somebody at some point and had this child after his wife died. And so, they didn't expand on it. They haven't for 4 years yet. So I don't think it's going anywhere, sadly. And that honestly happens a lot in comics. Somebody took the reins, decided to make a character, and nobody else took it up. Nobody else picked it up. So might be the last time we see Joanna Jeffers in any way. And so all of those characters, no MCU counterparts. We haven't heard much about Reed's parents. I don't think he mentioned them. We were right about Sue and Johnny. They mentioned the car crash in the film.
Yes.
But I don't think Reed mentions his father at all, which isn't too surprising. Then, of course, that brings us to the children, the complicated children who we're not going to talk about that much. But first, Franklin Richards. Again, we've discussed Franklin in at least 3 episodes by now. The first one being episode 94, Agatha Harkness, because she was his nanny back in the day. But yeah, Franklin himself is a force to be reckoned with, and he's one of the universe's most powerful beings capable of warping reality itself. And we'll probably discuss Franklin eventually, because there's no way he's not going to play a bigger role in this eventually. When? Who knows? We don't know how the time jumps are going to work or whatever.
Yeah, I forget what episode it was where it was like we discovered who Franklin Richards was, and then I did like a Marvel wiki on him, and I was just like,
like what?
I was like, just like the most powerful being ever.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, not to jump ahead a bit, but there was one point in the comics where Sue and Reed got into a devastatingly terrible fight because Reed at one point was like, my boy is too powerful. I'm going to turn his brain off. And Sue came home and was like, Reed, what's wrong with Franklin? Why is he sitting there like that? And he's like, I turned off his brain. And she's like, what did you do?
Why would you do that?
And they got into it. And it's simply because, yes, he was just too powerful that Reed felt like he had to. And you see a little bit of that in the movie.
Yeah.
Where he's trying to oversee him and almost control the narrative of like, is this child normal?
Yeah.
To the point that it's like, oh, you're doing it to yourself now, brother. Like,
yeah.
And so, yeah, it's Franklin to be continued because, oh my gosh. And so we've already seen a time jump in the MCU where he was first portrayed by Ada Scott as a bebe and then an uncredited child in the mid-credit scene. But yeah, he's being primed to be the most powerful being in the MCU as well. And he's about 4.5 years old at the end of First Steps. So if you think about it, they did an 8.5-year time jump or a 9-year time jump in that film alone because they were already Fantastic Four for 4 years.
Yes.
Then they go through the course of her being pregnant 9 more months, and then they jumped ahead 4.5 years.
Yeah.
It's like a 10-year leap. It's kind of wild if you think about that.
Yeah, they've been the four for a while.
Yeah, for a while now. And so if you try to match that up with MCU, takes it even further.
Yeah.
Because you think about it like that, and it's like, okay, so when they became the Four, that's around Winter Soldier era.
Yeah, yeah.
And then all that stuff is happening on the MCU while they're going through their stuff.
My
and
gosh.
now they're converging. So it's going to be like, oh.
Converging.
Convergence. And so, yeah, what age Franklin will be by the time Doomsday rolls around?
I say tween.
You think he's going to go and be like, they're going to be like, where did Franklin go? And then he comes back and he's like, hi, I went to the future and I came back and I'm 15 now.
I'll say like, oh, I feel like 8 to 10.
Yeah, a little older.
Yeah. I feel like that's where he'll
Yeah, I think I'm with you there, even though he might be a child. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then there's also Valeria Richards, a.k.a. Valeria Von Doom. We talked about a little bit in the Sue Storm episode. And so, yes, she is very much the biological daughter of Sue and Reed, but she is also the goddaughter of one Victor Von Doom. And so her origin is as complicated as Franklin's future is. And so not only does Valeria come from the future, but she comes from an alternate one where Sue became Baroness Von Doom to Victor Von Doom. And so in short, it was revealed that Valeria was in fact the daughter of Reed and Sue. However, she was miscarried. That's the whole Sue's whole malice storyline. Yeah, in I think Fantastic Four 260 or 261. And she was then sent to another dimension by Franklin, speaking of. And then Valeria was then raised by alternate Sue, who happened to be married to Victor. So yeah, it's a very complicated story, one that we go into a bit more detail in episode 115. So go ahead and listen to that if you'd like more on it. Yeah, unlike Franklin, she doesn't have any notable powers aside super intelligence that might even surpass Reed's. But, you know, it's subjective and depends on who you're talking to, because she will say she is smarter than her father. But we have yet to see any sign of Valeria as far as MCU is concerned. Jeff and I both agreed in our other episodes, we don't think they're going to go there. That they're just going to have Franklin, and Franklin's going to be the only child for now. So yeah, I wouldn't count on a Valeria Richards appearance anytime soon, but you never know with the MCU, I guess, right?
Never know.
And then that brings us to Johnny Storm, Human Torch. You know, we've said this many times before. It's kind of like they're pretty neutral, positive as far as relationships are concerned. And so there's nothing too complicated going on here. They don't have the crazy beef. There's no big mega battle that happens between them. They are just brother-in-laws. That's all it is. And so, again, Johnny came with Sue. Reed wanted the whole package. And so while Johnny struggles to find his footing because he's so much younger than the rest of them, and he's unable to be completely serious at any time, it takes quite a bit of him to be heard. And so Reed often kind of just looks past him, doesn't quite hear him half the time. And it's like First Steps. I actually read an issue that was very similar to that when he's like, hey guys, she talked to me, and nobody is listening to him at all. Like they're just like, yeah, she talked to everybody. He's like, no, she talked to me in her language. There's like a few pages in the issues that are just like that. He'll come in and he'll have something to actually offer, and everyone's like, yeah, sure, Johnny, whatever. And so that's very consistent early on. But again, they've matured in the last, 60 years of comic books. So the balance is a bit better now. But there's nothing too crazy as far as dynamic goes. And that stands true over in MCU, or in live action for that matter. And so Johnny was portrayed by Jay Underwood in the unreleased film, then Chris Evans, then Michael B. Jordan, and then most recently Joseph Quinn. And yeah, same thing. We get the same expected dynamics where they have these bits and moments where Johnny is surprisingly more astute than Reed, because you just expect Reed to be perfect and smart and right all the time. Yeah. But he's not. And it really says something when somebody like Johnny rises to the occasion and is like, actually, I am a smarty pants myself. Yeah. and you said it wonderfully in our Johnny episode, that when he translated Shalabal's language. Yeah. Like when he really puts his mind to it, he's not always a spontaneous dummy. He's sometimes a smart, spontaneous dummy. Yeah. And I think the characterization works well. We didn't quite see the same Johnny with Michael B. Jordan, but
no,
he wasn't fun, right? Like, I don't remember him being
He
fun.
was just the son of the main, the doctor dad.
Franklin, yeah.
Yeah. Franklin.
Yeah.
And it's just
Dr. Dad.
like Dr. Dad. Forgot his name.
You're not wrong.
And I was like, he was like, yeah, I'm just doing this just as a favor.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It wasn't fun. Yeah, it wasn't at all invigorated like the other versions were. They had quite a bit of interaction as far as Reed and Johnny went, and the most being in Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, when Johnny's powers went haywire, and I thought that was really interesting. But yeah, I think also First Steps strikes a really good balance that is almost similar to that in some ways, where yeah, he's kind of got the hots for this crazy alien chick, and he's doing things that are a bit, spontaneous, but he's still at the end of the day saving it and with the Fantastic Four, not just helping them. But yeah, pretty good. We'll see what happens in the future between those two, as well as Benjamin J. Grimm, aka The Thing. And so we said this in our Benjamin episode as well. Like, it's as simple as apple pie. These two met in college. They became roommates. And, which was funny because Reed's original roommate was supposed to be Victor Von Doom. But the two didn't quite get along. And we're going to get a little bit into that soon enough. But as for Ben, out of college, both he and Reed enlisted in the services. And then that's when Ben joined the Air Force. And then Reed became an underground member of the OSS, a.k.a. the Office of Strategic Services, a World War II intelligence agency that was the predecessor of the CIA. So that still kind of kills me. It's like, you mean to tell me before the Fantastic Four, Reed Richards was part of the CIA? Baby CIA?
Crazy.
It's so wild to me. And then, of course, the big one between Ben and Reed is that they've got brotherly love. They're like brothers.
Close.
And yeah, all three of the Fantastic Four men have this camaraderie to them, but it's especially true between Reed and Ben.
Part of probably the one thing, well, it was like half, but probably a quarter of the movie. One thing they got right in Force Stick.
Yeah, that's true, because they stemmed from since
like
they
school,
were children.
Yeah, children.
They really built that relationship.
Yeah,
and it was one consistent one that felt
kind of. Well, I say a quarter. It was like
Yeah.
it was until the accident, and then when like Reed like abandoned everybody, it was like, all right, man.
Yeah, exactly. Oh gosh. But yeah, Ben Grimm, The Thing, portrayed by Michael Bailey Smith, then Michael Chiklis, then Jamie Bell, speaking of, and then most recently Eben Moss-Bachrach. And then consistent, it's the same thing. They really go against one another's grain in the original Fantastic Four films, which is pretty similar to the comics. But for the greater good, again, very brotherly-like. Though First Steps really edges them out quite a bit in terms of closeness and connection. Like, you get that there's a connection with Reed and Ben in the original two films.
Yeah.
But First Steps takes it like another level.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, and again, like in rewatching it and really following the facial gestures and everything, like, damn.
Yeah.
There's a softness to that relationship that, like, they support each other so much. But they don't harp on Reed needing to find a cure for Ben.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Which,
it's kind of like, Ben is just like, this is who
me.
I am. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's very interesting. And again, do you think about it? It's like, it's 5 years at that point in the story. And compared to the other films where they really started from square one, where Ben's walking around in a trench coat because he can't find clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, First Steps Ben, he's got loafers, he's got his hat fits perfectly.
He
his
shaves.
Shirt. Yeah.
You're like, it's the whole shebang.
Domesticated. Yeah, and so it's very interesting the timeline at which they've introduced this the growth that they already have. And such is true in their connections, which I really love. And so that's definitely one of the dynamics I'm excited to see more of as they go along. And of course, there are the love interests. I did not think I was gonna find anything.
Really?
But there is one worth mentioning. If you look online and if you think back in their history, there's only been a couple of people who even came remotely even close to getting some sort of affection from him. But no, he never really had relationships until Sue, aside from one person. Her name was Alyssa Moy. And so we mentioned up top that Reed had attended and successfully earned degrees from multiple universities, including one in Austria. In Vienna, Reed met Alyssa Moy, someone who was essentially cut from the same cloth as him. Imagine Reed Richards as a female. That was Alyssa Moy. And so Alyssa was also a child prodigy turned adult intellect. And she had this insane logic. They got along swimmingly until they started to think about their future. And Alyssa was like, Reed, I don't think we should get married because if we have children, our gene pool will remain narrow. If we marry other people, our intellectual genes will be spread further on the planet.
Oh my gosh.
And he was like, got it. Gotta go. Because what the hell?
Sure.
Yeah, it was very strange. So yeah, she just wanted she was just like, we're so smart. We should let more people have it so they have our intelligence. And he was like, you're crazy.
Sure, yeah, I guess there's some logic in that.
That's so insane to me. I'm like, there are straight up Reddit threads about this woman because they're just like, what do you think about his girlfriend? And then like the further you get into it, you're just like, oh my God.
Does that mean she thinks that she should have multiple
I
kids
don't know.
with multiple
right? Because real people do this.
daddies?
Real people do this. There's like this dude that's like the man of 1,000 children or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this is stuff that actually happens. But yeah, so that she didn't want their superior genetics to go to waste. Being together.
That doesn't. It also
so
like
wild.
it also makes sense if you have one with each other.
Yes, exactly.
Like it's the same
Right.
deal.
Right, but she wanted the balance to be struck with average intelligence, and then there's I was like, this woman is nutty.
Sure.
So anyway, she ended up backpedaling down the line after Reed got married to Sue, and then she was like, I changed my mind. I think we should get married after. And Reed was like, haha, no. And so his simple explanation to her was that he loved Sue.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't understand. Because she's so superior in intelligence, she couldn't comprehend why that was the only reason why he was still married to her. Crazy.
Have you met Jessica Alba?
That too. Yeah, it's so if you think Reed is detached, right? We've seen that in the films even.
Yeah.
He comes off as mildly detached because he's so focused and he's constantly thinking. It's just how his brain works. That yeah, it's a part of contention between he and Sue at times. Because she's like, I just want attention. And he's like, sorry, honey, I'm fixing molecular blah, 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 blah.
I'm too busy saving the world.
Yeah. And so imagine that, but even more. Because Alyssa, she can't even understand the concept of just loving somebody. And it's so nuts. And so, yeah. So that was the one relationship.
Yeah, my ex was incapable of that.
Right.
Just had to throw that joke in there.
But yeah, so that's the one relationship he had.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Her
So
logic is
interesting.
hilarious.
It's so crazy to me. And yeah, her lore is very interesting because she popped up again. She ended up marrying a man named Ted Castle.
Sure.
No relation to Frank Castle. No relation to Reed's uncle Ted, I believe, that exists. And something happened because he was also a very intelligent man. And something happened that she got like stomped by some alien race or something. Her body was destroyed, but her brain was salvaged. So she's like a floating brain and a robot. And her husband like creates bodies for her. It's freaking weird. We're not
Gross.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. But yeah, she crazy. And so there is no MCU counterpart. We're not going to hear about her. She's never going to exist. It doesn't matter. But you know who does matter? Dr. Susan Storm,
She does.
the Invisible Woman. So again, despite these two being the poster pair of love for the Marvel Universe, they met. Reed's college years, conflicting timelines suggest that Sue may have even graduated from high school when they met. So again, to say again, if Reed was already 27 and she was like 19,
Jesus,
it's a little bit there. And yes, they met at Aunt Mary Gay Dinkins' boarding house.
As one does.
God, that name is so incredible.
That is.
And they all started sharing space in the boarding home. And so Reed had to distance himself after some time because Sue was such a distraction. He couldn't focus. He couldn't get his work done. So he left. But it proved futile because they inevitably crossed paths again. And, like I mentioned, they have an incredible amount of problems behind them. A lot of fighting, a lot of separation. Not only because of outer forces, but because of themselves. Because again, Reed is often working way too much, wrought with overthought, and of course, sometimes he forfeits what might be morally right in favor of what he considers the greater good. And so, for instance, during Civil War, they were on opposing sides of the agreement. Reed was for the Superhuman Registration Act. Sue was against it. So if you plug that into Civil War the movie,
what sides they would be on?
Yeah. So Reed was Team Iron Man and Sue was Team Cap.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. And so that put a little bit of distance between them. She eventually obviously sided with her husband.
Yes.
Because she, you have to in a way, but yeah, and even still, it's sad to say that Sue wasn't and sometimes isn't even treated as an equal member of the Fantastic Four. She's, cast aside. She's living up to her name. She says it in the game. What am I, invisible? Like, it's the same thing. Like, it's not just a video game tag. Like, that's straight from the comics. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, so she's often cast aside and stifled and not spoken to on the same level as the other three. And as I mentioned before, this is truer in older continuity just because of the books and the decades that they were written in. But man, she has taken some grief from this man.
I'm sure.
But thankfully, the couple endured and eventually married. We touched a little bit on this in our Invisible Woman episode, but when I said, and we didn't get into it in that episode, when I said that everybody was involved in that wedding issue, I mean everybody, Jeff. Oof. I'm showing Jeff the cover of Fantastic Four Annual number 3 from 1965. So remember, Fantastic Four came out 1961.
Yeah.
X-Men came out 1963. Spider-Man came out 1962. Everybody. They now have all these characters, and they're like, let's just put them all in one book.
Sure.
Just do it all.
Yeah.
And they use this opportunity. 72 pages.
That's a lot.
For 25 cents. You know how much 75 pages cost now? $14.99. And so it was everybody. And it was because, and I'll touch on it now instead of waiting later, Doom decided he had to get revenge on Reed for being smarter than him.
Of course.
So he came up with a foolproof plan.
I'm sure it was.
To create this what was it called? Emotion altering machine.
This guy was desperate. Man.
He's so crazy when you read, especially if you read the older ones, just because they're so squirrely and funny and whimsical. And he was like, this will tap into the anger of all of their enemies, and they'll flock to them on their best day. And I will ruin their wedding because Reed deserves my revenge. And it's like, that's why you're doing this. And so he literally sends everybody over to their wedding. So the X-Men are in attendance. Matt Murdock is there because he's their lawyer. Daredevil, they didn't know. And so Daredevil's there, and then the Inhumans, all of them are there. And then here comes all, like, literally one by one. Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, Mole Man, the clay guy that you don't know.
That's right.
Like,
That's right.
Mr. Hyde comes out. Like, all these Z-lister villains come out and practically ruin the wedding. But they save the day because Reed actually gets help from the Watcher. It's one of the few.
Wow.
It's one of the few instances that the Watcher has actually come through and been like, I need to step in. Comes in, takes Reed to his laboratory beyond, and then Reed creates this thing to help all these villains forget that they were fighting them, like, for that, because of Doom. It's crazy. And that all happens in this issue.
That's crazy.
It's a lot. And they take pages upon pages to show each hero fighting every villain too. So that's like, you get a few pages of Captain America, a few pages of Thor. Everybody came through, but they still got married despite it all. And they've been more or less married since. They've had their issues.
Forever.
Again, they've had some stuff come through, but they're good. They're solid. And I don't anticipate they're going to change that anytime soon. Not to mention, with all the other multiverses, they've had chances to ruin them. Like I said earlier, Sue was married to Victor in another universe.
Yeah.
So they have some playroom to deviate from what we expect. Then, of course, there is the live-action Dr. Susan Storm, Invisible Woman, first portrayed by Rebecca Staub, then Jessica Alba, then Kate Mara, and then, most recently, Vanessa Kirby. And save for the 2015 film, pretty consistent when it comes to the affections of Reed and Sue.
Yeah.
He's pining for her. She's pining for him harder. But it never quite happened until it happened. And you see the balance in the dynamic. I love Vanessa Kirby and Pedro Pascal's dynamic. Oh, my God. Very believable.
Chemistry was
so good.
out of this world.
Incredible chemistry.
Yeah.
Even in the first 12 seconds where he's looking for that Imodium.
Yeah.
Yeah, incredible. And so, again, in short, a nerdy nerd and a hot nerd just trying to get on the same page, fall in love, and then they're basically damn near inseparable. There is a little bit too, if you pay attention to the dialogue, a little undermining.
Oh, really?
Which is very comic accurate. She looks at him. She gives him the looks too. I was like, ooh. And so I forgot what the context was, and I think it was I think it's just before the Franklin stuff. Like he says something, and she just, like, the camera looks at her very intentionally because she just makes this face like, what did you just say to me? And I was like, ooh, that's accurate. It's so great. Again, I'm telling you, go back, watch it again, watch the gestures, like pay attention and lock in. It's so good. That brings us to notable adversaries. So again, we're not going to get into the weeds with this one and mostly stick to the ones that we've seen in live action like we have the last few episodes. But I did mention I wanted to talk a little bit more about Red Ghost.
Yes.
Whose real name is Ivan Kragoff or Ivan Kragoff. We've more or less avoided talking about him because he's not technically in live action, but he is on the cutting room floor. Yeah. In the comics, Red Ghost was a Russian communist scientist focused on the study of cosmic rays, which makes him very compelling and in a direct line with the Fantastic Four. And so he was obsessed with replicating the effect of the rays and enhancing the potential powers that they could imbue on other people. Because he was like, if they affected the Fantastic Four that way, imagine what you could do with monkeys. So his experiments worked, successfully imbuing a trio of his apes after a trip to the blue area of the moon. Okay, I'm just going to tell you right now, Jeff, if you haven't heard about the blue area of the moon, oh, brother.
I didn't even know there was different colored areas.
It's so distinct, and it's such an important part of Marvel lore.
Okay.
I'm just going to say Inhumans and the Phoenix.
Okay.
Huge. And so we haven't talked about Jean Grey yet, but you're going to hear a lot about the blue area of the moon at one point.
Okay.
And so he took his apes to this area of the moon, and then each of the primates gained unique powers. They got the powers of magnetism, enhanced strength, and shapeshifting, simply based on these cosmic rays. And so while Ivan himself, he gained the ability to become intangible at will. Hence, Red Ghost.
Intangible meaning like he can go through things?
So like Kitty Pryde, if you will.
Got it.
Ghost, for that matter. But his name was Red Ghost because Red Russia.
Yeah.
Ghost. In the comics, he had no real reason to go after the Fantastic Four aside being fascinated by the science behind them. And he's just another villain who lusts for power. But it would have been fun to see him in the MCU. But I was reading up on why they cut Red Ghost from the film, who was supposed to be portrayed by John Malkovich in First Steps, but he was on the cutting room floor. And they just said it was too dense for the film. So I guess he was in the first 12 minutes of it. Mm-hmm. And so he might have been just after the origin story or in place of, and they just thought it was too much of an intro. So that's why they ended up cutting him off completely. In First Steps, there's only a brief glance at one of his minions in the film. And so we see Reed fighting Piotr, the orangutan.
Yes.
In that montage in the beginning. And then the rest of them make their cartoon cameo at the very end of the film with Red Ghost. And that's all we got. So I'm like, why didn't they release the footage?
I don't know.
Do you think it's money? Is it a money thing?
I don't know.
Huh.
It could be an accumulation of things.
Yeah.
Of like why that his part specifically got cut.
Sure.
It could literally be. It could be part money. It could be part time. It could be part. It's not really important to the.
Well, yeah.
Story.
They said that it was too much for the beginning, and it was too much.
Yeah.
Which I could totally get because they've done that with
because
so
they
many
even
movies.
cut like some Mole Man stuff too.
But I mean, why not at least release it as deleted?
I don't know, man.
That's the part where I'm like,
yeah.
Is it because you're bringing him back as somebody else now?
Yeah.
And you didn't want it to be like, oh, he was already Red Ghost?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very curious. But yeah, speaking of Mole Man, Harvey Elder, and so same more or less for him, maybe even less, that aside being a classic recurring villain, he doesn't have any direct correlation to Reed at all. He's just another one of those, I will defeat you, Fantastic Four. He is portrayed by Paul Walter Hauser in the First Steps film. And again, nothing major between them there. And we didn't even get to see the link that he has with Sue so much. It is in deleted scenes, but not the full story. But yeah. And then that brings us to Silver Surfer, both Norrin Radd and Shalabal. And again, notably for both surfers, there's no direct correlation with either of them, with only Reed. It is, again, a full package Fantastic Four ordeal where circumstances brings them together. They have to fight or they have to work together. Yeah, pretty much covers that. Where in the films, Norrin Radd was portrayed by Doug Jones and then Shalabal by the lovely Julia Garner. Same thing in the films. Like, it wasn't like Shalabal came with pinpointed, I'm going to get Reed Richards. It was the planet. Which, speaking of, the consumer himself, the big bad man, the devourer of worlds. Galactus. Same thing. Not distinctly there for them. He was there for the planet. And he was portrayed by Ralph Ineson in First Steps. Perfectly.
So
Mind
good,
you.
Man.
And that was something else that I saw, that more pictures of behind the scenes of him in his costume are popping up without his headdress. But
so good.
So incredible. And yeah, it is kind of frightening if you think about that thing walking around in your city.
I'd be like,
Yeah. Oh my God. So great. But yeah, same thing. Not distinctly against them, at least for the most part, until the idea of Franklin comes to pass. So that does spur him and his intentions a bit when it comes to the family. But yeah, other than that, there is one, however, one big baddie we're going to talk about that has all the reason in the world to come after Reed Richards specifically.
it's like a Wile E. Coyote and the Rooster or the Roadrunner.
Yeah.
You know, and Bugs Bunny.
No,
and,
it really
and,
is.
And Daffy Duck.
Yeah, no, for
Just
sure.
Batman and Joker.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty much, right? Like who are the frenemies of history that come to mind? Because that is who you should be comparing Reed Richards and Victor Von Doom to. And yeah, Doom is undoubtedly the Fantastic Four's greatest foe, despite anything and anyone else recurring in every incarnation imaginable, despite his capability to help them. He still is like, I'm going to ruin you. And it's all because of intelligence and being bested. And so you'd asked in another episode, I think it was the Invisible Woman one, where you were like, what is their deal? What is Doom's endgame?
Yeah.
And it's
Nice.
still true. I know. But it's still true. These two are not friends, but they respect one another as intellectual peers. I think it's next level among minds of this caliber, because there are other pairs that have this sort of relationship. Norman Osborn and Peter Parker are one, for instance, where they both respect each other on an intelligence level, but they cannot stand each other. And they think so alike that they're opposing. And so that's almost the same with Reed and Victor, in that they were colleagues, and their own professors were like, they're like Albert Einstein and Leonardo da Vinci. Like, they're so on another level. We don't understand them. They understand each other, but they still can't stand each other.
Yeah.
And so yeah, while the two had undeniable rivalry between them, it all comes to a head while the two are working on respective projects. So for Reed, it was the spaceship that would inevitably change the Four's lives and take them up to space for that cosmic ray imbuement. For Victor, however, he was working on a multi-dimensional astral projector, which could basically send his astral form to other multiverses.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Sure.
It's like, okay.
As one does.
But in true form, Reed and Victor debated about the schematics and the calculations. And as stubborn as Victor was, especially when being corrected by Reed, he did not heed the warnings. He was like, you're incorrect. My calculations are fine as they are. And Reed
Sounds
was
like every antagonist.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I think I'm right.
Actually. Yeah, and that's actually one thing that kind of resonated very well in Fan Four Stick.
Yeah.
Is that they were like cooperating with one another.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
then they would be like, oh, I don't know if I agree with that necessarily. And then Victor would be like, no, my calculations are fine.
Yeah.
And
I
then-
remember that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember when Dr. Franklin went to Victor's like, I was like, we figured it out, Victor. There's this kid like, no, I know it.
Yeah.
We're gonna do this project again. It's me. I did.
Yeah.
And he's like, Reed, I don't really like that.
Exactly. And that's all it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is at the end of the day. So Reed's working on the spaceship. Victor's working on this projector. And in true form, Reed was like, no, so something's gonna go wrong. Victor's like, no, it's not.
I don't think so.
And as a result, the machine exploded
Sure.
in his face.
Yeah.
And it scarred him.
And let me guess, he needs a mask.
Yeah, that's exactly why. You never see his face again. And it's actually so fun. This occurred in Fantastic Four #5. And so they just introduced Namor. And then they're like, let's bring in another one. And they brought in
It's basically just
Victor.
three dudes trying to hit on Sue.
Exactly. Let's utilize. And so after the accident, because they don't show it in the original, they've like many other stories, like the origin story, they've rewritten it a few times by now. And so in one of the iterations, it shows like Reed being like, oh no, and then the explosion happens. In the original version, they don't. They just show Reed being like, oh, I don't think it's, but they show the aftermath, and Victor is sitting. It's so college dorm shit, because he's literally sitting in a chair and he's got his head wrapped. You cannot see this man's face. And the professors are scolding him. They're like, you could have put other students in danger. You're expelled from this college. And so that ruins his life. And he blames it on Reed.
Of course he does.
Right. Why wouldn't he? So
I'm going to make it my life's mission to destroy Reed Richards.
Exactly that, right? Like if somebody put a voice changer on Julian McMahon, because like that's what it would sound like. That's what he sounds like when he's not like a handsome, somewhat scarred man on live action, right?
You sound like that. Oh my god, what's like a character that like Oh, I guess the first character that came to mind was, have you ever seen Recess?
Yes.
And it was like that guy that is like he's like, that's a violation.
Yes, exactly.
And, you guys shouldn't be doing that.
Exactly. And that's it. That's the fuel for the fire. Is
so
that he's
funny.
like, I have to get revenge on Reed because he
Reed
ruined
told
my
me this
life.
wouldn't work, and I didn't listen to him.
Exactly.
I blame him. He is the reason my face looks like this.
Exactly. So now you get it, right? You get it. He's already smarter than him. And then all that happens because he didn't listen. Yeah, it's so insane. And it's like, the male ego, how far it can go, right?
Yeah.
And so as you can imagine, this sets them up for long-term rivalry. And to your point, sometimes Sue comes into the picture and Victor's like, oh, there's a weak point. I can use that. So yeah, he'll throw himself on her like he did in the film.
Yeah.
And he'll do all these things just to mess with Reed.
I can't wait until we do a steady on Doom.
Oh my god.
Because like whenever I see the different medias of
Yeah.
him, like I've seen him in the animated
Yeah.
stuff, and I'm just like, what kind of powers does this guy have? Like what? Like
He's just very, very smart, and he's able to create things. But I will
was he
say,
in the accident too? Damn.
there is this thing that was another reason why he actually got thrown out of college, is that there were rumors that he's obsessed with black magic. And so that plays a lot into why there's magic involved.
He's on that Caecilian stuff right there.
Yes, exactly.
He's on, yeah.
So and that's also what gives with the astral projection. Why is he talking about astral projections?
So he
Doctor
has to
Strange
hate
is-
Strange too.
Absolutely.
Like,
oh yeah, he's
like, there's a master of the mystic arts. It should be me.
Yes, exactly. I think in like the first season of Rivals, I think was all about two dooms and how they were trying to dominate, and mysticism was heavy in the lore.
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing. So he's using his intelligence to kind of create these things. And God, I can't even remember what issues they were, but I think we talked about them in our Johnny or Ben episodes, and he tries to concoct these things, and he has these ulterior motives because he wants to get both power and magic so he can be like the utmost most powerful person in the galaxy, if you will, Yeah, he's very interesting. And so I hope we get a lot to work with in Doomsday. And, again, my gut is telling me there is going to be multiple versions that we might get to see. So
I think
we're going to have a lot to talk about in December 2026.
A year from now.
A year from now.
Almost.
Yeah.
A little over.
We're almost there. We're like 200 days away from Spider-Man, man. So that... almost there.
So good.
Almost there. And so in live action, Victor Von Doom was portrayed by the late Julian McMahon in the original Fox films, and then Toby Kebbell in Four Stick, and most recently to be Robert Downey Jr. Or so they say in Doomsday. Yeah, so again, we got a little bit of the rivalry of these two on screen for sure. They're a little different considering the storyline is a little different.
Yeah.
But I think they've captured it pretty well so far. Four Stick, but they're doing all right.
Yeah.
I think the best is yet to come for sure. So we've discussed this in previous episodes, like I mentioned. And so, yeah, if we're really going to see a multiverse of Doctor Dooms, do we think RDJ is a ruse?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I don't understand how the internet is just catching on to this.
Yeah.
Like, why did that just occur to you? Oh, he might not be the real one. Like,
He's a real one probably in that multiverse.
in his multiverse, yeah.
Yeah,
Or
we still don't know,
in-
like, if that's... Oh, no, it was... So, like, in that previous universe where First Steps happens, like, he's the Doom in that one.
Earth 828.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
and you can have multiple.
And
It's
they're
fine.
gonna and it's funny because I saw this I think a month or two ago. Someone was like, it was right there in front of us, and it was because all the people on stage at San Diego Comic-Con that were dressed as Doom, they were saying it right there. Like, it wasn't some presentation of like, oh, who's the real, oh, here's the Doom actor reveal. It's like, no, we're literally telling you there's gonna be multiple Dr.
Dooms.
Dooms. And I'm like, yeah, that's fair. actually, I kind of agree with that. And I agree. I think it's right. I think they're going to do that. I think they're going to have a multiverse of Dooms.
Yeah.
Because they didn't get to do it with Kang.
Yeah.
Not because, but
they had to pivot.
They had to pivot. So, yeah.
Look, I'm still excited. I can't wait to see how it all shapes out. I don't care. I will be seated. I'm so seated.
I'm seated. I've been.
I'm so seated. What's that Io and Debris meme? Have you seen that meme comment?
Yeah.
I'm so seated. The movie theater workers are telling me to get out of my seat because I'm so seated.
She's so funny. I love her. She's so good. I want her to finally get to be in the MCU because she was supposed to be in Thunderbolts. She was going to be Mel Gold. But she had to quit because of the film that she did with Andrew Garfield, I think, and Julia Roberts.
I mean, that's a good one too.
Yeah. So
I heard that.
I don't blame her at all.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
oh god, we were right there. I was so happy she got casted, and I was like, oh yeah. And fortunately, we didn't get her, but it's okay. But yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens in just over a year.
I bet you there's gonna be a scene where Pedro and RDJ is just gonna be an aura off, just one
just aura
big
farming on screen.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
You know, like come on, because obviously, like yes, Doom is like the looming, presence amongst the whole Avengers and whatever it is, but it's also like we've discussed, that's yin and yang, Doom and Mr. Fantastic,
two sides of the same coin for sure.
Yeah. They're going to have I'm sure they have a lot of scenes together.
And RDJ is such a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Such a powerhouse.
It's two A-list powerhouses just aura farming. They're going to act their asses off.
Yeah. I can't wait.
And then RDJ is going to be like, I don't like you.
I know. I'm still banking. I'm still banking on the idea that he's going to have some crazy accent. He's not gonna. I feel like he won't sound like himself. I could be completely wrong.
Yeah,
I don't think he's.
I think
gonna
it's
sound
definitely
like
going to be altered.
Yeah,
like he's not. I think we're gonna because one for one, yes, he is Iron Man. But he is not going to be witty.
I don't think
like he is not going to
be
be Tony Stark.
Yeah, from what little has actually been said by cast members, and I think it was I don't even know if it was Feige or somebody. Simu
no, some people were saying he was acting.
Yeah. So I'm so excited. Apparently reshoots are happening soon too, like in the next
probably
month
for
or two.
right before the holidays. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Oh my gosh, that's gonna be hopefully a good Christmas next year.
We're gonna see characters sharing the screen that you would never think would be sharing the screen.
Like Kelsey Grammer, that video, for instance. Kelsey Grammer.
I'm surprised he even said what he said. I was like,
he was so.
You could have just said you're in it, dude. Like that would have been fine.
He was so careful too. Like you could feel it. He was like,
It's the fact that he mentioned like characters. Like I said that.
We share time. Time together.
But then when he was asked about Rose and Robert Downey Jr., he was just like, I don't know what I'm allowed to say. I can't say anything.
I like he was prepared for that. Anybody else, I felt like might have folded a little bit, but he did really well. Yeah, it's so exciting. And it's hopefully it's gonna pay off. That's the big one. And so like very quickly, like sure, maybe the films this year weren't major blockbusters in comparison to their predecessors, but I think the storytelling is getting more and more solid for just these kind of films, especially with Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts, specifically. I think they're so solid that Doomsday is really going to be something else.
Yeah.
Like they had time to cook this one, you know what I mean? And I'm kind of glad that it's not coming out this time, like in its original date, because now they had more time to work on it, which is something they hadn't had for a while, especially with Phase 4.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, and sooner than later. Crazy to think about, to be honest. So for other versions and in other media, I mentioned up top, there is this person known as the Maker, and this is one of Reed's variants. And so it's been a while since we've actually discussed distinct variants of any one character, but for Reed, I really did want to touch on this one in particular. And so he might seem distinctly familiar if you're gaming lately, because you guessed it, Maker is one of Reed's skins in Marvel Rivals. Have you seen this one where he's got the helmet on?
No.
So in Marvel Rivals, Reed is voiced by Ian James Corlett. Yeah, and so this specific Reed, yeah, he's got a darker outfit, which is why people are like, oh, and Fantastic, he's modeled after this. I was like, no, they don't look anything alike.
Not even close.
And he's got this crazy helmet on.
Yeah.
And so
looks like a Tron.
yeah. And so interestingly enough, he stems from the mind of Jonathan Hickman.
Okay.
So Jonathan Hickman, if you're familiar at all with him as a writer, he's the big brains behind the revival of X-Men and the island nation of Krakoa. And so in the earlier stages of this X-Men revival, Professor X was walking around and he had a dark suit and he had Cerebro on his head covering his face. And so very similarly to Maker, this was a darker depiction of the original character. Not as crazy for Professor X. I mean, it's crazy in its own way, but we're not talking about him right now.
Yeah.
But Maker is the ultimate version of Reed Richards. So 1610, Miles Morales
Got it.
universe. And so we previously discussed the Ultimate Fantastic Four in our Marvel Zombies episode, where younger Reed got duped by zombie Reed
Yes.
to help them open a portal and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the Reed that eventually turns into Maker, is that ultimate one that was so naive at one point. But what happens is that over time, he, not like 616 Reed, he wasn't raised well. He wasn't nurtured well. His parents didn't think intelligence and education was important. They called him an outcast. They shunned him for better wording. And then he went through a bit of trauma. And so he went through a lot of mental health issues. Sue left him eventually at one point in the Ultimates comics because her dad died. And so when that happened, the team imploded. He no longer had that support system. And yeah, life just got to him. And then he becomes this crazy Maker guy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's a lot, but definitely worth a read. And so he once was a hero, and then he just takes that villainous turn. And it's cited as, quote unquote, a series of tragedies and immense mental trauma.
Oof.
Described by Wikipedia. And so, yeah, and it's very similar, like, as we mentioned in our Sue episode, when she turned into Malice. Because of the villain that they were fighting, and also her miscarriage, the trauma.
Yeah.
Same thing with Reed. It was just Ultimate's version. And so the character eventually moved over to 616 because after that world imploded because of the incursions, he was in 616 for a while, wreaking havoc in 616 because then there was 2 Reeds. And that caused Secret Wars 2.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Whoa.
that's another possibility for the record. I think it was a 6-issue or an 8-issue run in 2015, and it was Reed versus Reed, and the multiverse and the heroes were with us, and like Miles. Did I say us? The heroes were all together.
Hey,
I was there. Yeah, sure.
we were there.
And Miles was like the prime Spider-Man at that point in time, and yeah, it was a very interesting story. But now Maker is apparently in a different body, in another universe. He's displaced. He's still alive. So I don't know. He might come back in some way. But yeah, he's floating around in the ether, which is a really interesting version of Reed Richards. Because yeah, you got to wonder, like, what is that when he's evil?
Yeah.
You know, that's scary. Because they did a very, I don't want to say similar, but superior Iron Man, for instance. What happens if Tony Stark goes bad?
Yeah.
You get that. So it's the same thing for Reed Richards. All that said, holy moly, this brings us to Almost Was. And so I was able to find a couple of candidates that made the cut. Raul Coley, he mentioned himself that he had auditioned for the role in addition to Christopher Abbott and Jamie Dornan. 50 Shades of Reed, I guess.
Crazy.
I know.
Crazy.
Purportedly auditioned for the role in addition to Pedro Pascal. And then Adam Driver and Jake Gyllenhaal were considered and made the shortlist, but both declined. So,
Yeah.
interesting. Adam Driver.
I saw some
Yeah.
tweets about that. Like, yeah.
That's interesting.
Never know.
That's so interesting.
I think it's the mustache.
He would make a good Doom. But I don't think he wants to play another role where he has to wear a helmet at all times.
Yeah.
But Jake Gyllenhaal, we all know why he's not. It's because he's Mysterio. They were just like, no.
Yeah.
Unless they were planning that far back. But yeah, the rest are fine. They're all fine. I think Pedro got it. for a lot of reasons, and one of them is because he acted his ass off.
I agree.
So for the future of the character in the MCU, so yeah, Kelsey Grammer spilled some beans that he was sharing some scenes with Reed and Beast. So it's like, oh, the intelligent boys are coming together.
Do we think they traveled from Reed's universe to where
that's a good point.
Where Photon is?
Yeah. That's like 100001, I think.
Something or 109999 or something. I forget.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh shoot. And then they end up on 616. You know what I mean? There's so many possibilities. It's like why is Beast and Reed, talking?
Yeah.
Did they go to,
oh, you're right. 1999999.
And so it has to be because
yeah. The X-Men,
the Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Interesting.
Because like because the Marvel's post-credit scene, it was Beast being like, it looks like you've torn into the space-time continuum.
Yeah.
Which is impossible.
Yeah.
So which makes it seem that like they don't know how to get out of that universe, but Reed definitely knows how to.
Yes, exactly. If
So
anyone can figure it out,
it's him.
It's Reed Richards, man.
So
that's so interesting. And so do you think, well, that's the question, right? Like if the Fantastic Four get there somehow, do you think they then take them to 616?
I think they're recruiting.
That's going to be nuts.
I think they're recruiting.
Interesting.
Or what if Reed has met up with Captain Marvel first and be like, hey, lost my friend.
Yeah.
I don't know where she is.
Yeah.
And he's like, I think she's here.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's a good one. That's actually a good one. But they would have to meet first, right? And there are those actual leaks that came out a long time ago, or a few months by now, where John Walker and all of them are in the cockpit.
Yeah,
of
and
the
also
Fantastic
there was that post I told you about Brie Larson that she posted on voting day.
Yeah.
Where she was like in a hoodie, and she was like voted today. In parentheses, ignore my wig.
Yeah,
and it's a blonde wig.
Yeah, because she has short hair right now, right? IRL.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think it was for a Broadway play she did.
A friend saw her doing a book signing or a discussion or something.
Yeah.
She has a pixie cut. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
And there's only one character she plays as is blonde.
Yeah.
So
it's very distinct.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think he's gonna be a big chunk of Doomsday.
Has
undoubtedly.
to be.
There's
It's like
just no way.
it's like it's like Infinity. It was like Infinity War or both those movies. They were focused mostly on the 6.
Yeah.
So you have to focus on
the 4,
the 4
or the 1,
or at least like
the 1.
Like they're the reason like why everything is gonna happen.
Yeah, they're the one that tips that first domino over.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, so ready. So we'll see in just over a year. So for suggested reading, easy peasy. There's a lot of Reed Richards material to go around. Just depends on what you're interested in learning about him or what type of reading you'd like to do. But for me, it was the original run of the series, of course, stemming from 1961 onward. 2000s before the Fantastic Four, Reed Richards from Team Peter David, Duncan Fregretto, and Christy Scheel. Simply said, it's an origin-ish story for Reed before he joined and created the Fantastic Four. 2015 Secret Wars from Jonathan Hickman, Isadi Ribic, and Eve Svorchina. And so, again, this is a largely maker-centric storyline. It was a revival of Secret Wars. It was dense, but it's a great read. Pretty much in line with Hickman's usual work. And last but not least, the current run of the book, led by writer Ryan North, which has received a very fair share amount of praise. And so with all that said, that's the end of the show.
Wow.
Thanks for listening, guys. Next episode. So Jeff and I talked about this a little bit today, in fact, and we made a decision, an executive decision. So what better way to top an interesting year than with one hell of a character story? So in 2 weeks, join us as we finally deep dive into the Mad Titan himself. Thanos.
I'm just gonna talk like Josh Brolin for the whole episode.
It's so good.
I'm just gonna speak in euphemisms.
Oh my God.
And
I can't wait. Yeah, you better do
I'm
it.
gonna sound like I'm Socrates,
Yes.
Aristotle.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I kid you not. I looked back on our document and I kept searching Thanos. I was like, this is the Mandela effect. I swear we talked about him.
I thought we have too.
We've just talked about him that much.
Yeah.
That we thought we did a character study. So we're gonna end the year with the big guy.
Oh yeah.
And so join us in a couple weeks for that. And finally, thank you to all of our Patreon supporters, and a special We Are Groot salute to Andrew, Nats, Sherry, Laura, Jenny, Ashley, Andrea, Ed, Katie, Robin, Joe, Liz, Melanie, Tyler, Ariel, and Chris. Follow us on social at STRKCNTRST. If you experienced ads during this episode, you can unlock an ad-free version of this podcast by supporting us on Patreon. And of course, if you like what you hear, please review, rate, and subscribe.
Once again, thanks for listening. We will catch y'all in the next one.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Are we safe?
Are we safe?
Yeah.
I don't know.